Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I'm your host. My name is Tyler, and as always, I am joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got Kyle.
Hello.
Once again, for another consecutive year in a row, Johnny Frank, the man, the myth, the legend, the wizard behind Bilmuri, band, not the actor.
Possibly both.
Possibly both. I guess it's not confirmed.
Possibly.
But he has released a brand new, gosh dang, mother dang, stinking freaking album. And boy, gosh darn it, has he once again knocked it out of the park for another year in a row. This man just cannot miss. He is just a wizard of music. And boy, do we respect him and all the things that he does, musically or otherwise. I will say off the bat, we're gonna go around. Obviously, we're gonna talk about our general thoughts about the album before we go into ranking the songs. I'm gonna kick it off by just saying that I really enjoyed this album. However, I actually don't like it quite as much as the last two albums. I don't think, personally, and I don't think that it's like not as good of an album. I think it is like the same level of quality. I think I like the vibe of the last one specifically a little bit more than I like the vibe of this one. But the vibe of this album is still very cool. Goblin Hours manages to kind of be a lot more like synthy and like melancholy, I would say, as opposed to like how 400 Pound Back Squat was just like really fun and kind of over the top. And this still has a lot of fun elements to it. It's Bill Murray. It's never going to not be fun. But yeah, I don't know. I would say that I really liked this album, but I don't think that it quite hit the peak of 400 Pound Back Squat, to me, personally. But I would like to hear what you guys thought about this album. I'm going to toss it over to Brennan first. What did you think about Goblin Hours, bud?
I think when a band has a couple like really solid successes in a row, I'm talking about Iggy Pocket and, of course, 400 Pound Back Squat. Because for, like, to me, Iggy Pocket was, like, Bill Murray's, like, true, like, coming out party. Not saying, like, any of his older stuff was bad, but, like, Iggy Pocket was... excuse me. Iggy Pocket was kind of when he, like, put it all together. And, really, like, refined his sound, kind of pushed the envelope, because... Before Iggy Pocket, a lot of his stuff kind of sounded really similar. And with Iggy Pocket, the trend kind of continues, but he added so many new wrinkles and like so much more, so much more like depth and like layers to the sound like altogether that Iggy Pocket was a masterpiece in my opinion. And then 400 Pound Back Squat pretty much came like right beneath that for me. Almost matched the hype, very good like follow-up album. So Goblin Hours to me doesn't quite match those two, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like Bill Murray kind of has a bit of a formula going, and on their next record they might need to change it up a little bit to either match or surpass the heights that Iggy Pocket 400 Pound Back Squat did. It's a damn good album. It's just, I don't know. Bill Murray's just coming out with like similar stuff, not really pushing the envelope as much as he used to. But
yeah, it's really hard to follow up those last two albums, though. To be fair, so I mean,
I agree for sure.
Yeah, it's a monumental task. Kyle, what did you think about Goblin Hours?
I personally really liked it. I think I'm in the same boat where I don't like it as much as the last two. But I think this album, like you said, gives me a very different vibe than the last two did in a way where it stays in the same realm as the last two. But this one, like you said, definitely has more like synthiness going on. I think a lot of the verses in particular in a lot of these tracks on this album, like really kind of hang out in a more groovy, chill place than perhaps they did in 400 Pound Back Squat. Excuse me. But I think my biggest thing for me in this album is something I realized after looking at something that Johnny Frank had said about the album as it released. He posted, I don't remember if it was on Twitter or YouTube or what, but it was a little thing where he said, he's like, I spent a lot of time while writing this album trying to create sounds that I've never been able to create before. And I feel like I really do feel that here, and that alone is like mad respect to him. And the reason why I think this album is as good as it is because even if it doesn't do the same things that I love from 400 Pound Back Squat and Eggy Pocket, it's still something like unique, you know, like he is the king of unique in the music scene right now. I feel like everything he does and puts out is just so different, so cool. Specifically in some of these tracks on this album too that we're gonna get into, I feel like he really does some cool shit that I'm just really excited to talk about.
Hell yeah, man. I agree. Yeah. He's a unique and special boy, that Johnny Frank. He sure is. So what we're going to do, as we always do with the albums that we review on this channel, we're going to break down every single song on the album and rank them from worst to first. So I'm going to list off the songs in question, and then we're going to dive right into it. So, first up, we have Corn-Fed Yetis. Second is The Void Approacheth. Third is Fairy Void Type. Fourth is Muscle-Bound Denizen. Fifth is Anabolic Spudsman. Sixth is A Hogman's Delight, or A Hogman's Delight. Hogman, I think, is the correct way.
I like Hogman.
Hogman, yeah. A Hogman's Delight. Johnny Frank, if you happen to find this video, let us know the exact pronunciation in the comments below, please.
Phonetic, please.
Yes, phonetically. Next up is Fairy Ethereal Type, followed by Vascular Demigoth, and finished up with Swamp Creature, the Fire Breather. He always manages to just come up with the most fun names for his songs. Super fun stuff. Are there any songs in particular that jump out? Wait, hold on. There's two. Yeah. I just know. Yeah.
I was like, where are you going? I already know where you're going.
Yeah, we always got to put the interludes at the bottom. I think that there is one that is like objectively better than the other. Personally.
Oh, really?
I do. There's one that here. So here's the thing.
Okay.
Fairy Void Type I thought was cool. My only note for it, I just wrote BioShock with a question mark.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
But then Fairy Ethereal Type, I only had one note, and I just wrote fucking beautiful. I wish that song was a full song. I really liked that. It was very, very clean and beautiful. And I really enjoyed it. Not that I didn't enjoy Void Type, because I do love me some BioShock, but like, I don't know. I just think that the other one felt like more of a song than that one, personally. What do you guys think?
I agree, personally. I don't know if I agree in the same way as you, but I definitely agree in general that I like Ethereal Type a little bit more. To me, Void Type feels a bit like a snippet from a song, whereas Ethereal Type feels like its own idea that begins and ends, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of get that beginning of like the what is it? It's like more like a orchestral swell kind of thing going on. An Ethereal Type that kind of comes in, the vocals come in, you get the layering of the vocals, and then like it fades out. Whereas like I feel like with Void Type, you just kind of like you're almost like jumping into a thing that's like you're kind of catching it midway, and then it distorts out before you hear actually where it's going. Yeah. It's really creepy, really cool how he does it, and I think where they're placed on the album as well give you a really cool little like creepy, whimsical little side trip with Seneca, who fucking kills it, by the way. The vocals in are incredible, fucking gorgeous. So I mean I love them both, but they're definitely not like full crazy ideas like the other tracks are.
Yeah. What do you think, Brennan?
I definitely get the BioShock reference in Void Type. I don't really know which one I prefer. I'd say, I mean, Ethereal Type, kind of, but I don't think Void Type is like necessarily bad in its own right either. You know, I'll disagree with you guys. It's Ethereal Type for me. I mean, this is the filler, this ain't the killer, but you know.
Yeah. This is the part we should be arguing about the absolute least on this video. But yeah, very good interludes, but they're interludes, so they default to the bottom. So Void Type is going to be at the bottom. Ethereal Type is going to be just above it. Now the question that I started to ask before I realized our situation. What do you guys think jumps out as being the weakest song on the album? Does anybody have anything that stands out to them? Not everybody all at once.
Nothing jumps out at me as like low quality. I'll say that much right away.
Oh, I agree with that.
They're because like even like when we're talking about like Jackpot Juicer, you know, we had like a gripe with the track. In this, I have no gripes with any of these tracks, like right out the gate, you know. Other than the two fairy songs are short. I wish they were longer. I guess that's my main gripe. But if I had to like throw one out there that like I can objectively find like something that I think objectively puts it below the others. Musclebound Denizen with
that's where I was going to.
Wow. And literally the only reason is that I think the electronic elements of this song in particular are a tad like front facing the entire track, where like it kind of takes over moments in the song more so than other tracks do on the album. Not necessarily a bad way. I think a lot of the stuff they do in it is fun. It's just some of that electronic-y, distortion-y stuff that happens, I think, is very like the main thing you feel at times, and I kind of wish it wasn't as much, but it's still cool.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was just like, because like you said, I don't think there's any bad songs on this album. I don't have any gripes with any songs on this album. For me, Musclebound Denizen stood out as the weakest just because, like, it was just the one that stood out the least. I think that each of the other songs kind of, like, I had at least, like, one standout moment where I was like, wow, that was really cool. Like, that was executed really well. And this song, it was like, it was really good, but compared to the other songs on the album, like, I don't think it really had, like, a huge, like, standout part in it, personally. Brennan, what do you think about Musclebound Denizen, and is there another song that you want to throw out to combat it?
I get the gripe with like the electronics that kind of taking the forefront of the song. It doesn't really do a whole lot other than that. Because like some of the complaints that I hear about Bilmuri is that a lot of it's just like a lot of it's like open notes and one notes, like just kind of like intermixed among like choruses and stuff. And that's kind of all I really get from this track, other than, you know, like a little like electronic sampling here and there. So I'm not sure anything is worse than it. But one track that really didn't grab me a whole lot for similar reasons, not really doing a whole lot, is Vascular Demigoth. Which I don't think it's a bad track. Like I'm putting the disclaimer out there. I don't think any of these songs are bad. But I think Musclebound Denizen and Vascular Demigoth are like the two that grip me the least.
I can agree with that, actually. I think that that's probably what I would think of being like just above Musclebound. I do think that Vascular Demigoth does more than Musclebound. Yes. For sure.
I just don't think it does a whole lot compared to like the rest of this album.
I agree.
Like,
yeah,
there's a few like rippers on this album. I think like there's some tracks on here that do some crazy shit that deserve to be like held above the rest. This one is like it has some neat parts. It's a good song. Like I'll vibe to it here and there when it comes on. But yeah, I can agree. I don't think that there's anything like super standout about this song compared to the rest of the tracks. But I don't know, Kyle, are you kind of in agreement with that?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that these are like the two I was kind of leaning going towards the bottom. I wasn't super sure about Vascular Demigoth, and like the main reason I say that is because I think the coolest thing, I think I talked about it a bit, I don't remember if it was in 400 Pound Back Squat or Eggy Pocket, but oftentimes when he does features, he lets the feature kind of take over. Oh, you know what? It's because Jonathan Young's feature. I think that's why.
It was definitely 400 Pound Back Squat, yeah.
And I feel that in Vascular Demigoth a lot, where what's her Laurel? Yeah, Laurel, that's the feature for Vascular Demigoth. And the way that her verse goes into the second chorus and it like completely takes over the first half of the second chorus, and then it shifts back into when Johnny Frank comes back in, it like shifts it back into like what it was the first time. It's stuff like that, and like the transitions between everything in that track, and in fact the whole album, I think transitionally the album is just fucking flawless. His mixing and his way to just write things into each other that don't seem like they should go into each other is just mind-blowing at times.
Yeah.
So I definitely love that about Demigoth. And I guess before we like sink Musclebound Denizen into the dirt, I did want to say there was a little thing that I liked a lot about it, and it's that in the second chorus, in like the open space of the chorus, the guitar comes in to do like a call and response thing that I really enjoy. It like adds to the first chorus, which I think the chorus is already pretty catchy in that track. The fact that the guitar comes in to like kind of riff off of the vocal part that happens, like by a little call and response, it's really fun. It's nothing like crazy, but it's enough that like I made a note about it. And you mentioned how you didn't have any standout things, so I wanted to give that Musclebound Denizen a little bit more muscle before he runs off to his grave.
Send us some love for sure.
Fair point. I appreciate that you did that. And before we leave Vascular Demigoth and Dust, I mirror a lot of things that you said, Kyle. I think that like the vocal structuring on the album as a whole, and I think it's just one of Bilmuri's like strongest, points of like why I like listening to this band is because they do such a good job of bringing in the features and just letting them kind of take the song and evolve it into like a new thing, and just really, Johnny Frank really just lets them take over and kind of make it their own thing. And I really love that, especially since every single song on this album has a feature. Like it's like a driving force behind the entire album, like part of what makes it so cool. And I really did like the way that like the vocals kind of like traded back and forth and like blended together in this track. It was just so well done. Unfortunately for it, and fortunately for us, there's just songs that do it a bit better. Shockingly, it's crazy how well it's executed in some of these songs. For real, I mean, we're gonna be getting into it now after we've locked those in. So it's a short album. We're already left with
a third of the way
5.
through.
We're already left with 5. Do we want to do tabling at all this time to keep up with tradition? Or do we want to just keep rolling and see what happens?
I know exactly what I would table.
Same.
Okay. Sure.
I mean, same here. So, okay, Brennan, let's start with you. What do you want to table?
Swamp Creature, the Fire Breather.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Good choice.
That song
Good
is
choice.
an absolute fucking ripper.
Yes. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
All right.
Fucking yes.
Brennan speaks truth. All right, we're locking that. That we're tabling that shit. That is off the table. Kyle, there's another song that I think is a correct choice. Do you know what it is?
I was just ready to jump on that song. Let me look at my notes. I was like,
sorry, I stole your thunder. I had to.
I'm glad we're all on the same page, though.
I was just so like, I was like, if they throw out tabling, I know I'm gonna lean into it really hard. I know what I'm jumping on. I've thought about it since the album came out.
What I was gonna jump on too. Actually, no. Just to make this harder for you, I'm gonna cut you off because I know what I want to table.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
The Void Approacheth. I'm tabling that.
I'm down.
Yeah.
That's definitely one that I considered. Oh fuck, this is difficult now.
Yeah.
That's
why I jumped in front of you, because I realized the situation.
I might go with my gut. Oh, I forgot Dayseeker exists.
Rude, but okay.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going with corn-fed Yetis. I don't even care.
Okay.
I'm going with corn-fed Yetis.
Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting that one, but okay.
Go for it. That was what my gut told me. You know, I'm just gonna run with it.
Okay. Well, then I feel like there's of the two left. Here's the thing. Both of these songs that we did not table have saxophone.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
And you know how I feel about the saxophone.
Yes.
You know how everyone knows how I feel about the saxophone.
That just shows you how powerful these 3 tracks are.
I know. The fact that there's two songs with saxophone and I didn't table either of them, that's fucking insane. That does not happen ever. Usually it's like I hear saxophone, I'm like, There it is. Number 1 song on the album. Ship it off. Although I will say, in Swamp Creature, it kind of sounds like there might be some saxophone, like kind of mixed into the back, sort of, but I can't tell.
It's
because like especially at the end, like when it's going in the solo, I was like, oh, another sax solo, but then it was guitar. So then I'm like, are my ears just broken, or are they blended together, or did it shift from one to the other, or am I just stupid? Once again, Johnny Frank, if you happen to find this video, because you found the last one we did, which was very cool, if you happen to find this, please let me know if there's saxophone in Swamp Creature, because I just want to know. My ears are dumb, and they crave the sax, and sometimes I hear it when it's not there.
My ears yearn for saxophone. Yes. That's just how I live my life.
My ears just want that sweet, sweet reed action. Yeah, but Anabolic Spudsman and Hogman's Delight.
I know what way I want to go.
You know which way you want to go?
I do.
You do? Okay.
And it's tough. I don't know if my Dayseeker comment could possibly allude to which way I want to lean, but I think I want to lean a little bit into the Hogman Delight. It's delightful. It's delightful and full of a Hogman. I can't not
full of a hogs man.
Full of a man's hog. That's what it's full of.
Full of a man's hog.
That's a delightful man's hog, and I love it. I think to me, the reason why I want to go with Hogman's Delight is I think and this might just be a stupid comparison to make, but I think the feature in a Hogman's Delight from Dayseeker brings more to the table than the feature in Anabolic Spudsman. And nothing against Spencer. What's his name? I don't remember. I feel bad. So something like that. Spencer Stewart. I think his feature is really good. It's really tasty. But Dayseeker, like, brings a fucking power into his intros and the choruses that it just fucking rocks my soul. And then it goes into a saxophone after that. That is just fun. You pump it in me. I feel like I'm saying that in every fucking review we do nowadays, but pump it in me, baby. I love that shit. I love that. I don't know what it is about those notes that he hits. It's just so strong. I just feel like together the vocals with Johnny and the vocals for Dayseeker are just so good, put together, and also the saxophone riff to end it feels like the intro into an episode of Full House where like the credits are ending and they're like zooming into the house.
Okay,
and then like
that's
the door opens and the crowd's like, woo! Like,
it's like an interesting way of thinking about it, Kyle. Thanks. We've reached our first impasse in this review because I think that Anabolic Spudsman is better.
You're wrong.
I do. And you want to know why? Your reasoning is solid reasoning. I adore the song that you just defended, whose name I forgot. A Hogman's Delight. I adore that song for all the reasons that you said and more. However, I think that objectively, Anabolic Spudsman offers a lot more in the instrumental and beats department. And that's why I'm going to go with that. Here's the thing. This album in general, right? There's a very common structure that these songs kind of follow. Verse 1 is kind of like a thing, and then it goes into the chorus. Verse 2, right, is then an evolved thing with the vocal feature as the forefront. And that's kind of, you can see that in a lot of the songs on this album. But I think that this is like peak form of it, right? Because here's the thing. Verse 2 just fucking rips. I mean, did you hear that the fucking bass riff? Like, it's tasty. It's good. It makes me sweat. And in all the good places, in all the good ways. I can't not bob my head and dislocate my shoulders when I hear that fucking slappiness going on. But here's the extra cool thing. Upon listening to it many, 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 many times, as I have, what I noticed when I put on my review glasses and headphones, I don't have glasses, but it's metaphorical, the slappiness is actually teased in verse 1. It's just very lightly sprinkled into the background, like kind of like comes out in little ways and just is like, ooh, this might happen later on, and then it does, and it's just very slappy, and you're like, wow, I should have seen it coming because I kind of teased it, but here it is. Jesus Christ, my ankles are jostling all over the place from the groovy vibes. I don't know, so I'm voting for Anabolic Spudsman over top of it. So Brendan, I guess that leaves you to be a tiebreaker.
Yeah, how you feeling about these two tracks?
Both you guys bring up very good points. I do feel like A Hogman's Delight is a bit more of a total package. Like I feel like I get a little bit more out of that song, like totally. But like the individual little snippets and bits and, you know, all of the layers of like creative work that have gone into Anabolic Spudsman cannot be denied. Because I feel like A Hogman's Delight, like with you know, with Rory Rodriguez from Dayseeker, you know, coming in and like his vocal feature, like how like he has the stage and then like him and Johnny Frank, like, you know, intertwine on what I think is probably one of like the tastier choruses of this album. I mean, I think the top three like kind of surpassed, but like the fact that they like come together and like, you know, intertwine, then you have like an epic like sax like, you know, riff solo whatever into like the end of the track, I think is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, you get that too with Anabolic Spudsman, but I feel like the track in its entirety like just kind of is like a tad weaker than A Hogman's Delight. Even though like individual, you know, tracks and like instruments inside of, you know, Anabolic Spudsman might have a bit of an edge. So I'm going to go with Hogman's Delight.
Wow. You really pulled the rug out from me. I really thought you were going the other direction there for a minute.
No, I mean, Anabolic Spudsman, like both these songs I love, but like I just feel like A Hogman's Delight is like more of like a total package.
That's fair
to me.
Honestly, Tyler, I'm surprised. I was really expecting you to leap on to Hogman's Delight because I feel like the drums specifically in Hogman's Delight kind of go a little dumb stupid at times, and I was just like, oh, Tyler's gonna talk about that. Tyler's gonna eat that shit up.
I mean, yes, I like both songs. I'm not upset about the way this played out because I do like both these songs almost equally. I just really wanted to gush about what that verse 2 do. Because
that's fair.
Yikes, that was fun.
Verse 2 do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, okay, those are locked in. We're on to the top three. Jesus, this episode is going very quickly. There's a very obvious third place here.
Yes. No, I think it's obvious. I honestly think this episode's over. I think we can leave. I think it's
we don't even need to talk about the top. Fuck it. They're just good. Listen to them. Yeah, we don't need to go in depth with it.
I think the order they were tabled is the way they should be placed.
That's how I'm going, but we should talk about them all because that's why we're here. So let's talk about why Corn-Fed Yetis is good and also third. Kyle, since you tabled it, I'm going to toss that big old bushel of apples over to you.
Thank you.
I should have said bushel of corn because it's corn-fed. Okay, that was my bad. Anyway.
I would have bubbled it. I was at a bushel of Yetis, but it's fine. No, I would like to start this by saying great single choices. Jonathan Frankenstein, I appreciate the choices because you've picked our third and second and then left the best to be a little the light at the end. Not of a Hogman, but of a swamp creature, the fire breather. But we'll get there. Corn-Fed Yetis. I didn't expect it to be the album opener, but now in context, as I listen to it, I really like that this is the way the album starts. I think the way that it builds specifically is one of the strongest on the album, in my opinion, especially in that first verse. I love the way the drums carry this track. I have that as a note a lot of the place, but in this track specifically. I like the way that the feature in this track really feels like a tone shift in the track in two different ways. And what I mean by that is like in the second verse, when Knox comes in and you get his verse to kind of take over. I feel like the instrumentals kind of shift in a direction a little unique, like most of his features do. But then when you come back around, you get to the uncleans that happen in this track, which is like the only track that has uncleans in this album. I think it then takes another tone shift that you just really don't expect in this track. And I think I just love the way the uncleans drive this song. I think they do in a way that a lot of uncleans don't nowadays in songs, where they're like a bit of like a bridge kind of thing instead of like a whole song feature. There's a lot of driving force. There's a lot of really cool chugs that have some really cool rhythmic breakdowns amidst them that are just really fucking satisfying and don't take you too far out of the kind of groovy etherealness of this track already. I also just think the big was it Catch Me If I Fall run from the Nox vocalist is fucking phenomenal. I think the way that the big final drive to the end with the uncleans is so fucking catchy, like almost as catchy as the chorus of this track. It like continues into that final drive. There's just I'm gonna be honest. The first time I listened to this track, it didn't catch me as much. But on sequential listens, I feel like I caught more and more. And I'm wondering if there's more to catch as I listen to it more. But I really like this track. It's really fucking cool. Very unique on an album of uniqueness.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, including the fact that it didn't really catch me as much on the first listen. And then the more I went back to it, the more I was like, oh, a little morsel of greatness. And then I was like, oh, the whole thing is just that. Cool. It's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah. I feel the same.
Yeah.
As corn-fed Yetis are.
Yeah. as they tend to be. Speaking of growers, not showers, Brendan, what do you think about this song?
Hey. I think a majority of people of men on this planet are growers. All right.
Yes.
Shall we stand and applaud?
my totally cold take.
Anyway. Damn.
So corn-fed Yetis. I share the same sentiment. I feel like this might be one of the most unoriginal tracks on this record. And I'm not saying that like in like a bad way. But Corn-Fed Yetis, my first couple listens of it, it felt like a Bilmuri song that I've heard before. And, now that, we're more listens in, now like some more stuff kind of creeps out of the woodwork, things that like you don't really pick up on the first couple listens. That kind of gives it like that little bit of uniqueness. But I feel like because of that, that's what makes it a very good album opener. Because it's not like venturing into like territory like the rest of the album goes, like as hard as the rest of the album goes. Which kind of makes it more of like an easy listening experience to maybe people who listen to old Bilmuri and are coming to this new record. But that was kind of my take from it for a while. After it came out. Still a great song. I think the Nox feature is fantastic. I think most of the features on this album are absolutely fantastic. But that's kind of what like weighs it down for me in this top three. Like I think it's very deserving of top three. However, like it just doesn't seem like too original for me. But still a very good solid track. So yeah.
Cool. It's locked in at 3. This is literally the easiest album review we've ever done ever in the history of time.
Agreed.
Holy shit.
Thanks,
so
Frank.
The Void Approacheth. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny Frank and Bilmuri. The Void Approacheth is number 2 because holy fuck is nothing better than Swamp Creature. Void Approacheth was another one that like upon first listen didn't grab me like a ton. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I was like, ooh, Bilmuri's back. Really digging this. I listened to it like once, and there was so much other shit that came out around that same time. I just kind of forgot. And then I came back to it when the album came out, listening to it a bunch, and I listened to the album today alone. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. Just kind of in the background while I was working out, doing all my stuff throughout the day. And I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, I was like, I think that this song might be like mid-tier. And then I put on my review hat and my review pants and removed my socks of subjectivity and set them on the ground. And I really gave it a good old objective, hardcore, in-depth listen. And this song just does so much right, and it is structured just masterfully in like every single way. Biggest takeaway from this song, because I don't want to just drone on and on about this, but like, I think like the fact that it sort of has this vibe, and it's kind of the same vibe that the album as a whole has, but I think it's really like encapsulated here, where it has like nasty chugs and also like very light and like playful bits, and then just some like ambient stuff and some like pop. There's just like so much going on, but he manages to weave it all together into one like cohesive song that should not work on paper, yet it does, and that's crazy. Also, we've talked about how, you know, he does a great job with the features, you know, letting them shine, how he structures the songs around them. I think this is a prime example of structuring that to perfection. Where like the way that like Johnny is in the forefront for like parts of it, and then it switches to like the vocal feature being in the forefront, and then there's parts where they're kind of like together in unison, and parts where like one's like a little bit more forward and like one, and it like goes back and forth. Like, it's crazy how like technical and like in depth the layering and the switching around of the two vocalists is. It's amazing. This is like top level stuff, like stuff you don't see usually ever in most people's music when they have vocal features. This is just like the way it should be done every time. Blanket statement, industry wide, in my opinion. This is just the optimal way of doing it. But yeah, that's just my general notes. I wrote like paragraphs and paragraphs, but I'm not going to read them. But yeah, that's why I tabled that. It's good. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Who would like to go next?
I nominate Kyle.
What? Oh, you nominate me? Oh, yeah. I will accept the nomination. No, I like what you said about how it doesn't really work on paper specifically. Like the song, a note I made was like, it makes chugs easy listening, and I didn't think that was possible. Like it's just, especially in the bridge, like it's just very like you kind of like just like transported through the bridge, and it's like still quite heavy, but somehow very relaxed. And I don't understand how he does it. It's very cool. My biggest takeaway from this track is, I mean, the feature is incredible, and the way the two of them just go back and forth is so well crafted. The fucking harmonies are gorgeous. I definitely, when I first heard this track, I got wildly excited, and I was like, you know what? I have to temper my expectations, because I know that Bilmuri writes wild albums that go all over the fucking place. So this whole album is going to be this. So I'm just like, you know, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to accept this song as a really good track. And I'm happy to announce that this whole album is quite the good album. So I'm content with it. And this was a good first track, I think. It set the bar high, but not too high, and I like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn. I really enjoy how thick this track is.
How many times do I want to applaud you today?
You're really just laying so much truth and facts tonight, bro.
Like, because usually, like, when we hear Bilmuri, all right, like his guitar tone, all right, it's not the thickest thing in the world. Like, it has some punch, but in this song, all right, like at the beginning, like the opening little breakdown, like kind of rips, and then even like throughout the track, like there's even like a little, like a Day to Remember kind of sprinkle in there, like with like the palm muted like strumming, like in the second verse. I'm just like, damn, like my man's pulling all sorts of inspiration here. But like how thick that opening guitar was, and then like I believe after the second verse, he has like, it's like a thick synth, like in line with the guitar, like both strumming, like the beats kind of like the same. Like that just added so much like depth and like density to the track. I'm like, damn, like my man's fucking getting it. and then at the end of the track, you just get like this thick fucking breakdown, And like I said, the guitar tone, like my man fucking, he's stepping on some pedals, like giving the song some more girth. But like, I mean, it took it to the next level for me because like I said, Bill Murray, like he has breakdowns, like all this like cool stuff, but like for him to add that extra layer, like into that, both in the breakdown, like in like the guitar tone throughout the song, like in like that thick like synth part, like the bridge before like the final chorus. And like what cracks me up is like the song ends, like the breakdown ends, then there's like a weird like it's not like a gong, but it's like a weird cymbal.
Yeah, like,
just
it's
like randomly
it's like
hit.
it's like a splash cymbal or something.
Yeah, like the crown of the cymbal or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he hit like the bell of the fucking cymbal. It's just like that's so like neat. It's like no one ever like does that shit.
I really like that in particular. Like also in comparison to the fact that he really leans into the one like really big fucking chug that hits, where like completely fucking blows out the mix.
Oh yeah,
and then immediately is followed by the. It's like,
it's
gives
so
me the Mimi vibes from past Murray in those moments.
Speaking of the big chug, as I'm gonna call it, I like how he kind of like peppered that in like at the beginning, like during the kind of stripped down part in like the first verse. Or like the vocal features going, and it's kind of like light and pluggy, and then you just occasionally get hit with like the. It's like wow, it's nuts.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, like the Void Approacheth. I mean, this is a fantastic track, and the fact that like he added that density, like just like that thick layer, I think just takes it over the top for me.
Finna bust a sub up in this place, as Gen Z would say. Am I right?
Bust a sub.
Kyle, was that Poggers? Did I do it right?
Oh no!
Tyler going full boomer.
Just trying to relate to my young friend.
He shoved the knife in and then twisted it with a simple Poggers, and
oh my god! What even?
Anyway, let's talk about the number one song, Swamp Creature, the Fire Breather. Brennan, you tabled this one, so you get the honors of cracking it open first.
Oh, where the fuck do I even begin? This track, in my opinion, definitely hands down has the best chorus on the album. This track, to me, is where this album like all comes together. All right, like all of the little bits from like all the other tracks, all right? Like it is all in Swamp Creature, the Fire Breather. Little synth, like sax parts, like some synth. Excellent feature from Rose. I think I'm saying that name right. The chorus, like the chord progression, like how it intertwines with like the singers, the second verse being taken over, kind of like transforming the song a little bit, but then they come right back to it with like a mix. Like this track, holy fuck. Like to me, like the first time I listened to this, I was just so like blown the fuck away. And it's unfortunate that it's the last song on the album, but then I can't think of a better send-off for this record, because like it's literally everything that the album has given you into like a singular track wrapped in like a perfect little package, and all right, we'll send you on your way. Like, go listen to some more Bill Murray, please. Like, this track just rips so fucking hard. So whenever tables popped up, like I had to table this one. This is like, I wish I could do it more justice, but I think this is the best, hands down. I think it has everything.
I agree. And I think we all would have tabled it if given the chance. So I think we're all in solid agreement there. Yeah, I mean, you really said pretty much everything. I mean, it really is just the culmination of this entire album. It's the perfect way of ending it. It's just this epic conclusion to this very interesting album. I don't know how to describe the vibe, but I don't know, man. This song was just fucking cool. Standout moments in this song for me. Verse 2 goes off the fucking heezy, bro. Oh my god, dude. Like, the verse 2 syndrome is hot and heavy throughout this entire album. Every verse 2 is very, very good. This is like the peak verse 2. It's everything you want in a Bill Murray verse 2 on Goblin Hours, because it just goes so fucking cool and hard and great, and it's amazing. I could just listen to verse 2 and still put this at number 1 on the album. Personally, it's that good. Also, a really interesting part, I think, during the bridge, the vocalist, the feature, whose name I don't remember,
and Rose,
she has like a back and forth like between herself, which is really cool. And I don't know if I've ever heard anything like that before. And it was so neat. Like, I'm expecting something like that to be between like her and Johnny kind of going back and forth. No, it's just her and her back and forth on her own. And it's some weird like layering stuff. Super cool. And yeah, the song in general just slaps. No negative notes. 12 out of 10. I will be banging this for ever. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I think that over the last couple years, Johnny Frank has been able to just like wow me over and over and over again with like his just ability to write crazy shit. And I can now add Masterclass and Album Enders to his list of accomplishments, because holy shit, is this like the absolute top of the top tier of album enders for an album. Like you guys said already, it just has fucking everything in it. It has so many little bits that we've like gotten so hyped about in other like singular moments of the other tracks. It's like a verse in this one that is connected to the bridge that we loved from another track. Like how slappy the bass is in verse 2, Tyler, like you were getting all hyped about. Fucking love the layering in this track with the fucking feature, and the fucking harmonies are fucking phenomenal. It's just, it wows me. It blows me the fuck away. For me, I think my biggest things, Brennan, earlier you had mentioned that like some of the general negative like notes towards Bill Murray in the past have been like the kind of one note-esque things. I think this song literally is just Johnny Frank being like, hold my fucking beer. And he just like writes this, like, cause like, I think like the forefront of it all with like the vocals is absolutely insane with the layering. But when you look behind it too, and like you put on your objective monocle and you just like really, you take the subjective socks and you, I would put them in my subjective hamper. I wouldn't just leave.
I don't have a hamper. I'm a messy boy. I throw that shit on the ground.
You a messy little fuck. I hate that. But anyways,
messy little pile.
Messy little subjective pile of shit. Anyways,
shit.
what the fuck? That was a weird tangent. Anyways, I love that in the background of like the choruses in particular, you're just getting these fucking wild just, and it's just fucking, it's going all over the fucking place, man. And it's like perfectly in sync with the crazy fucking vocals that are happening in the forefront. It is just so fucking good. I also think it's the best feature on the album, but I feel like no one needed to say that. I mean, the feature is just fucking absurd in the way that she is able to sing with herself in the bridge. I love that. But also, I think some of those notes she hits, especially in the background of some of those choruses later in the song, are wild.
Oh,
just, yeah. I caught them on subsequent listens just by like being like really like deep in it, and wow, this is a top tier Bill Murray track. 100%.
Absolutely.
Top.
One for the ages, for the millennia.
Show.
Damn. Yeah, we did it. That was fucking quick and easy.
It's fun.
Holy shit. I couldn't have dreamt of an album review ever going this smoothly in my entire existence.
Yeah.
We're already done. I don't know how long this was. It was probably still kind of long, but we're done now. So I'm going to recap this. We're going to do the end card. We're going to have final thoughts. We're going to close it out for the day. So here is our recap of every song in Goblin Hours by Bill Murray, ranked from worst to first. At number... My phone froze. Hold on. Number 9. That is not the list I just opened. Hold on. I went to open a list, and it was like a list of like Pokemon related shit. I was like, number 9 is Walrein. That's not a song. No, number 9 is Fairy Void type. Number 8 is Fairy Ethereal type. Number 7 is Musclebound Denizen. Number 6 is Vascular Demigoth. Number 5 is Anabolic Spudsman. Number 4, A Hogman's Delight. Number 3, Corn-Fed Yetis. Number 2, The Void Approacheth. And number 1, forever and all time, Swamp Creature, Fire Breather. That's it. We've done it. Thank you, Bill Murray, Mr. Johnny Frank, for blessing us with another fantastic album and another opportunity to have a very fun recording session with the mates like we had tonight. Good stuff. Can't wait for your next album, hopefully next year. Just keep cranking them out. A yearly Bill Murray album really has just brought so much joy to my life. You might have been doing this for years before I discovered you, so if I'm talking out my ass right now, I apologize. But, yeah, that's all I have to say, I guess. I won't ramble anymore. We're going to close it out. If you are not subscribed to the Talks-A-Lot Boys, please go ahead and subscribe to the Talks-A-Lot Boys. We have received many more subscribers than I thought we would get this year. Still blows my mind. I understand it's still nothing in the grand scheme of things, but to us, that is a big chonkin number compared to what we thought we were going to get by the end of this year. And the year's not even over. It could still grow even bigger. And then we can grow and show. And that's the goal. So help us to reach that goal of having a big, thick cock of a subscriber count.
No! I knew that's where I was going.
I was going to pivot to something more of a euphemism. I couldn't do it. So give us a big subscriber penis and we'll be very happy. Also give us the little likes in other places on our, just like the video. I don't know. Just give the video a like if you liked it because it helps a lot. I'm losing my mind. Please comment below what you thought your rankings of these songs are. Did you agree with us 100% that it's never happened in our existence? I don't think, but let us know. What's your favorite song? How would you order them? We love hearing everyone's opinions. It's always very fun stuff. If you have not listened to this album, or if you have not listened to the entire Bill Murray discography, do yourself a favor and fucking do that shit. Stop whatever you're doing. If you're giving birth, hold it. Go listen to all of Bill Murray and then get back to that when you're done.
Hold that shit.
It's priorities.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We also have social medias that we post on sometimes, so follow us on there. Talks-A-Lot Boys on everything. Or the TikToks-A-Lot Boys on TikTok, because we're funny like that.
Oh, shit.
And I think that's everything. So I'm going to shut up now, finally. We have been the Talks-A-Lot Boys, and we'll talk a whole lot more next time. Bye-bye.